The following message is transmitted at the request of the Bakersfield Police Department in the California State Patrol. A law enforcement warning has been issued for the city of Bakersfield and surrounding Kern County communities. Authorities have confirmed the appearance of dozens of small yellow humanoid creatures roaming the streets. These creatures are described as being approximately 3 feet tall with goggles, full overalls, and erratic behavior. Witnesses have reported the creatures speaking in a no gibberish and destroying property with surprising speed. The entities are extremely fast and move in coordinated groups. Police attempts to contain them have failed. The creatures appear to be multiplying. Initial reports show new groups emerging every 10 minutes. Several patrol vehicles have been flipped or destroyed. Officers have gone missing during response efforts. These creatures are not friendly. Avoid all contact with the yellow entities. Remain inside your home and lock all doors and windows. Do not attempt to confront or capture these creatures. If you see them, immediately take cover and call 911. The creatures respond aggressively to light and sound. Power outages have been reported in multiple neighborhoods. Emergency services are overwhelmed and unable to respond. A curfew is now in effect for all residents in Bakersfield. No one is allowed outside between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. The Bakersfield Police Department will be enforcing this curfew. Anyone violating the curfew may be detained for their safety. These creatures are believed to be non-human and possibly extraterrestrial. Residents are advised not to share videos or images online. Doing so may increase panic and disrupt emergency operations. Military support has been requested, but may not arrive until morning. Emergency shelters are being established at 10 disclosed locations. Do not attempt to drive unless you are evacuating with a law enforcement escort. Roadblocks are being placed on major exits and entries. Surveillance drones are being used to monitor movement. This situation is not under control. Prepare for possible long-term disruptions. Stay indoors, stay quiet, and stay alive. This message will be repeated as updates become available. Stay tuned for further emergency information on this station. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Bakersfield Police Department in the California State Patrol. A law enforcement warning has been issued for the city of Bakersfield and surrounding Kern County communities. Authorities have confirmed the appearance of dozens of small yellow humanoid creatures roaming the streets. These creatures are described as being approximately 3 feet tall with goggles, full overalls, and erratic behavior. Witnesses have reported the creatures speaking in a no gibberish and destroying property with surprising speed. The entities are extremely fast and move in coordinated groups. Police attempts to contain them have failed. The creatures appear to be multiplying. Initial reports show new groups emerging every 10 minutes. Several patrol vehicles have been flipped or destroyed. Officers have gone missing during response efforts. These creatures are not friendly. Avoid all contact with the yellow entities. Remain inside your home and lock all doors and windows. Do not attempt to confront or capture these creatures. If you see them, immediately take cover and call 911. The creatures respond aggressively to light and sound. Power outages have been reported in multiple neighborhoods. Emergency services are overwhelmed and unable to respond. A curfew is now in effect for all residents in Bakersfield. No one is allowed outside between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. The Bakersfield Police Department will be enforcing this curfew. Anyone violating the curfew may be detained for their safety. These creatures are believed to be non-human and possibly extraterrestrial. Residents are advised not to share videos or images online. Doing so may increase panic and disrupt emergency operations. Military support has been requested, but may not arrive until morning. Emergency shelters are being established at 10 disclosed locations. Do not attempt to drive unless you are evacuating with a law enforcement escort. Roadblocks are being placed on major exits and entries. Surveillance drones are being used to monitor movement. This situation is not under control. Prepare for possible long-term disruptions. Stay indoors, stay quiet, and stay alive. This message will be repeated as updates become available. Stay tuned for further emergency information on this station. This is a civil danger warning. This message is transmitted at the request of the Colorado Department of Public Safety and El Paso County Emergency Management. Residents of Colorado Springs and the surrounding communities are facing an immediate and growing threat. The unidentified yellow creatures previously reported in California and Nevada have now spread into Colorado. These entities are confirmed to have entered El Paso County around 8:40 a.m. The number of creatures has increased dramatically within the last hour. Authorities estimate over 5,000 of these beings are now present in the region. These creatures are violent, unpredictable, and show no signs of fatigue. They continue to multiply at an alarming rate. They move in swarms and show a disturbing level of intelligence and coordination. Reports from military personnel confirm that bullets and traditional weapons have limited effect. Tanks and armored vehicles are being disabled or flipped over. Residents have described the creatures forming towers and hurling themselves through windows. Several schools and government buildings have been compromised. Although children were evacuated earlier, the buildings are now overrun. Law enforcement is unable to contain the invasion. A full evacuation of downtown Colorado Springs is now in progress. Do not use main highways, as they are currently jammed or blocked. If you are not able to evacuate safely, shelter in place. Secure all doors and windows. Lock entrances with furniture or heavy objects. Do not make noise. These creatures are highly sensitive to sound and will swarm at the source. Keep your radio or emergency device at a low volume. Do not attempt to approach or trap any of the yellow entities. They are hostile and extremely dangerous. Martial law has been declared across the state of Colorado. The Colorado National Guard has been activated and is engaging the threat. Multiple bases have already been compromised. Citizens are advised to disable lights, silence phones, and remain as quiet as possible. Power to parts of the city may be deliberately shut down to reduce creature activity. If you are near a military checkpoint, follow instructions exactly and without hesitation. All airports and public transportation services are suspended indefinitely. Avoid downtown Colorado Springs and Peterson Space Force Base at all costs. Unconfirmed reports suggest the creatures are attempting to mimic human behavior. This includes dancing, singing, and copying voices. Do not be fooled by these tactics. They are not harmless. This is not a drill. This is a civil danger warning. Stay tuned for further updates as this situation continues to escalate. This is a law enforcement warning. This message is transmitted at the request of the Kansas Highway Patrol and the Topeka Police Department. A major law enforcement emergency is occurring in Topeka and surrounding Shawnee County. At 11:41 a.m., waves of yellow humanoid creatures flooded into city streets from unknown sources. These creatures are consistent with the ones identified earlier in California, Nevada, and Colorado. They appear to multiply through unknown means and increase in number by the hour. These entities are not human and should not be approached under any circumstances. The Kansas Highway Patrol attempted to contain the mass infiltration. They were quickly overwhelmed and forced to retreat. Several police precincts are now compromised. The creatures are now in possession of law enforcement vehicles and equipment. They have begun wearing police uniforms in an apparent effort to deceive civilians. If you see someone in uniform, do not assume they are human. Confirm identity before accepting assistance. They have been seen mimicking sirens and police radio chatter. The state capitol building has been breached and partially destroyed. Witnesses report the creatures throwing office furniture from broken windows. Emergency personnel are unable to respond to calls in Topeka at this time. Do not rely on 911 services for assistance. Civilians are instructed to remain indoors. All roadways in and out of Topeka are now closed by executive order. No one is allowed to enter or exit the city until further notice. A perimeter has been established by the Kansas National Guard. However, the line is under heavy assault. Avoid contact with any small yellow creatures, especially if they are making loud noises or moving erratically. Some of the creatures have stolen firearms and are using them dangerously. Others have constructed makeshift weapons using broken machinery and scrap metal. They are not to be underestimated. Several officers have gone missing after responding to distress calls. Law enforcement believes these creatures may be targeting key leadership figures. Avoid schools, courthouses, government centers, and large public buildings. A state of emergency has been declared in Kansas. Citizens are advised not to film or live stream the events occurring in the streets. Doing so may draw the creatures to your location. Reports show they are drawn to light, sound, and movement. If you are near downtown Topeka, seek shelter immediately in a secured area. Avoid any encounters with these creatures, as they show no fear, remorse, or hesitation. They appear to enjoy destruction and chaos. This is not an isolated situation. This is a national threat. Law enforcement agencies have been compromised. We urge citizens to remain calm and cooperative. Stay tuned to the station for additional instructions and bulletins. This is a civil emergency message. This message is transmitted at the request of the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency and the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. The city of Memphis and surrounding areas are now under full civil emergency status. All residents must shelter in place immediately unless already in an approved evacuation zone. Reports confirm that the yellow entities resembling cartoonish humanoid creatures have arrived in downtown Memphis. Their presence was first observed near the Mississippi River shortly before 2 p.m. Eyewitnesses described hundreds of the creatures emerging from river barges and cargo containers. They quickly spread throughout Bale Street and Main Street corridors. The creatures are acting erratically, often shouting, laughing, or mimicking musical instruments. Several historic buildings have been severely damaged or destroyed. The Memphis Police Department has ceased all patrol operations in affected areas. One precinct building has collapsed following an attack. At least 2 city bridges have been rendered impassable. The Memphis Fire Department has been overwhelmed and cannot respond to new incidents. Do not attempt to extinguish fires on your own. The creatures have been seen wielding weapons made from kitchen utensils, metal bars, and even car parts. They are aggressive and unpredictable. If you are currently in a vehicle, exit it and find shelter inside a sturdy building. Do not remain in traffic or try to flee on major roads. The creatures are targeting moving vehicles. Several buses and ambulances have been overturned or set ablaze. These creatures appear to communicate with one another through nonsense speech. However, they understand basic human cues and emotions. They react negatively to fear and panic. Loud noises such as crying or shouting may provoke them to attack. It is recommended that all people remain as silent as possible. Disconnect any ringing phones and disable devices with motion or light sensors. Stay low, stay hidden, and avoid all contact. The Memphis International Airport is now shut down and under quarantine by the National Guard. All outbound and inbound flights have been canceled. Unconfirmed reports suggest similar attacks are occurring in Nashville and Jackson. The governor of Tennessee has activated the state militia. This is a civil emergency of the highest priority. Repeat, this is a civil emergency of the highest priority. Medical facilities are at capacity or compromised. Stay away from hospitals unless you are in immediate danger. Makeshift shelters are being set up in secure school gymnasiums and basements. Wait for further instructions before moving from your current location. The situation is expected to worsen over the next several hours. Authorities are working to establish communication with federal agencies. Remain inside and turn on a battery-powered radio for future alerts. Do not attempt to leave the city at this time. The yellow creatures are multiplying faster than anticipated. Repeat, do not attempt to leave the city. This is a rapidly deteriorating event. Stay calm. Stay hidden. Stay alive. Stay tuned for continuing emergency messages on this frequency. This is a civil emergency message. This message is transmitted at the request of the Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency in the city of Atlanta. The city of Atlanta is under immediate civil emergency status. Unidentified yellow creatures, consistent with reports from earlier incidents, have arrived and are now occupying the metropolitan area. At 4:47 p.m., security footage captured thousands of yellow creatures swarming from underground transit tunnels. The 5 Point SMART station has been destroyed. Multiple subway cars were derailed and thrown into the streets. The creatures have overwhelmed transit lines and blocked all entry to underground areas. They are hostile and increasingly organized. Several were seen redirecting traffic into trap zones near abandoned construction sites. They are targeting civilians indiscriminately. Remain indoors and lock all windows and doors immediately. The Georgia National Guard has engaged the creatures along Peachtree Street. There have been significant losses. A perimeter has failed to hold near Midtown. Downtown Atlanta is no longer safe for habitation. Do not attempt to drive through the city center. I-75, I-85, and I-20 are all heavily congested or fully blocked by abandoned vehicles. The yellow creatures have taken control of several overpass and are launching projectiles from above. They appear to laugh while causing destruction. Multiple fires have broken out, especially near the CNN Center and State Farm Arena. It is advised to stay away from any large illuminated structures. The creatures are drawn to neon lights and television screens. Turn off all screens and avoid using any glowing devices. Their movement is chaotic, but they react with deadly force to any sound or light. Reports suggest they are mimicking human voices to lure people out of hiding. If you hear a voice calling your name, do not respond. These are not human voices. Do not go near them. Avoid any contact with yellow figures, no matter how friendly or harmless they appear. These creatures have been seen weaponizing garden tools, leaf blowers, and power tools. They are not to be taken lightly. Several hospitals, including Grady Memorial, have been breached. Medical care is no longer available in the city. Makeshift clinics are being set up in underground parking garages. Move only when absolutely necessary. Remain silent, remain calm, and avoid detection. The governor has issued a statewide emergency declaration. Martial laws in effect across Fulton, DeKalb, Cobb, and Gwinnett counties. Power has been lost in several areas as substations were sabotaged. Communication towers are under attack. Expect a total media blackout soon. Take this time to gather food, water, and essentials. Board up windows and disconnect all electronics. Do not engage. Do not film. Do not attempt to speak to the creatures. The yellow entities are relentless and increasing in number. This is a widespread emergency with no containment in sight. Please remain on this channel for future instructions and critical updates. This is a law enforcement warning. This message is transmitted at the request of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement in the Orange County Sheriff's Office. The Orlando metropolitan area is now in a critical law enforcement crisis due to hostile non-human entities. The yellow creatures, described as short, rounded figures wearing goggles and blue overalls, have fully breached city limits. These entities have overrun several major intersections and tourist attractions. The area surrounding Universal Studios Orlando and International Drive is no longer safe. At 7:08 p.m., officers reported large groups of the creatures breaching hotel lobbies. They gained access through revolving doors and windows. A large number of civilians have gone missing within the last hour. Eyewitnesses described groups of creatures dragging people into service tunnels and basements. These creatures do not speak any known language. However, they are capable of forming complex strategies and working as a collective. They seem to possess an understanding of electrical systems. Power to multiple city blocks has been disabled from inside transformer vaults. Emergency vehicles have been disabled or hijacked. The creatures are impersonating first responders. They wear helmets, carry sirens, and mimic voices of EMTs and police. Do not approach any emergency vehicle unless you confirm human presence inside. The creatures are using deception to lure victims. Multiple civilians were lost attempting to board what they believed was a rescue vehicle. The Orange County Jail has been breached. Law enforcement has lost control of the facility. Escaped inmates and hostile creatures are both active near John Young Parkway. Interstate 4 is blocked by overturned buses and broken traffic lights. Avoid the area at all costs. Local officers have set up temporary barricades along Colonial Drive and Somoran Boulevard. These barricades may fall without warning. The creatures are using gasoline and fireworks to cause explosions. Stay away from gas stations, convenience stores, and fireworks stands. Law enforcement is no longer able to respond to individual calls for help. Police resources are being reserved for evacuation of high-value infrastructure. Please remain in your home or designated shelter and barricade all entrances. Turn off lights, music, and televisions. Cover all windows and silence mobile devices. Stay low, stay quiet, and wait for instructions. Do not let curiosity get the better of you. These creatures are dangerous and highly unpredictable. All civilians are advised to avoid outdoor areas after nightfall. These creatures become even more aggressive in the dark. Military assistance is on the way, but delays are expected. Several helicopters were forced to reroute after coming under attack by flying objects. The National Guard is mobilizing additional ground troops from Jacksonville and Tampa. All efforts are being made to regain control. Until then, survival is your responsibility. Trust no unfamiliar sound or flashing light. The yellow creatures are spreading too quickly. Stay inside. Stay silent. Stay hidden. Stay tuned to this channel for further emergency updates. This is an evacuation immediate message. This message is transmitted at the request of the North Carolina Department of Public Safety and the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Emergency Management Office. A mandatory evacuation is now in effect for all residents of Charlotte, North Carolina. At approximately 8:49 p.m., local law enforcement confirmed the rapid arrival of hostile yellow entities into the downtown area. These creatures, matching previous descriptions, are attacking with increased speed and intelligence. The invasion was unexpected and overwhelmed defenses within minutes. The creatures have breached city infrastructure using sewer and storm drain systems. Explosions have been reported in Uptown, along Tryon Street, and near the Bank of America Corporate Center. Surveillance footage shows large groups of minions tearing through barricades and scaling buildings. They are entering high-rise apartment complexes and disabling fire alarms. They are drawn to noise, movement, and light. It is unsafe to remain in any urban structure within Charlotte. All individuals within Mecklenburg County are instructed to evacuate immediately. Follow marked evacuation routes to the northwest. Do not travel east, as roads near Albemarle Road and Independence Boulevard are no longer accessible. I-77 and I-85 remain partially open, but are expected to be blocked within the next hour. Law enforcement will not be able to protect stranded motorists. Gas stations are running out of fuel. Take only essential supplies and leave as quickly as possible. Shelters are being set up in Morganton, Hickory, and Nashville. Remain calm and move with purpose. The yellow creatures have begun using construction equipment to tear down buildings. They have hijacked cranes and bulldozers, weaponizing them against fleeing civilians. Do not return to retrieve forgotten items. Once you leave, do not go back. Several apartment blocks have collapsed due to sabotage. Fires are spreading along South Boulevard. Emergency sirens have been disabled in several districts. The creatures are using recordings of human voices to confuse and disorient evacuees. If you hear a child crying or a loved one calling out, verify visually before responding. Do not trust sound alone. Hospitals are at capacity. Emergency services have been diverted or disabled. Some creatures are seen climbing onto emergency helicopters mid-flight. The sky is no longer safe. Remain grounded and do not attempt air evacuation unless instructed directly by military personnel. All outbound flights from Charlotte Douglas International Airport have been canceled. The airport has been breached. Security footage shows a group of creatures dancing on the runway while explosions occur in the terminal. Martial law is now in effect throughout western North Carolina. Anyone caught looting, trespassing, or obstructing emergency crews will be detained. Time is running out. This evacuation is not a drill. Repeat, this evacuation is not a drill. Abandon your homes. Save yourselves. Leave now or face certain death. Stay tuned for further information as it becomes available. interrupted our regular programming. This is a national emergency. Important details will follow. This is an emergency action notification. This is not a test. This message is transmitted by order of the United States government and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The United States of America is no longer under stable government control. Hostile non-human entities, commonly referred to as minions, have overrun all 50 states. This invasion has resulted in the complete collapse of American infrastructure, communication, and national defense. The White House has been evacuated. The Capitol building is presumed compromised. The President, Vice President, and members of the presidential line of succession are no longer accounted for. Washington, D.C. is now a war zone. Military barricades around the National Mall have failed. Swarms of yellow creatures have infiltrated the Pentagon and surrounding federal buildings. Military helicopters attempting to land on the White House lawn were attacked in midair. Dozens of tanks stationed in the district have been disabled. A final transmission from inside the FBI headquarters confirmed that the creatures are using human weaponry. They have adapted to our defenses. All national broadcast systems are failing. Cell towers are down in 85% of the country. The emergency alert system is now the only remaining federal communication tool. There will be no rescue. There will be no return to order. The American government has fallen. The creatures are intelligent, coordinated, and ruthless. Attempts to negotiate or reason with them have ended in death. They do not speak in any decipherable language, but they understand technology. They have hijacked surveillance satellites. They are tracking civilian movement using cell signals and heat signatures. If you are hearing this, you must assume full responsibility for your survival. Do not use your phone unless absolutely necessary. Do not emit light, noise, or movement. Bury your electronics. Stay away from urban areas. Major cities including New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Atlanta, and Seattle have all fallen. Entire neighborhoods are now controlled by minions. They have built strange structures from the remains of buildings and vehicles. These structures emit humming noises that interfere with radio frequencies. Avoid them at all costs. Do not attempt to destroy their hives. The few who tried were never seen again. It is believed the creatures use sound in mimicry to lure survivors. They can imitate human laughter, sirens, crying, and emergency tones. Do not be fooled. Stay underground if possible. Create no patterns. Do not gather in large groups. The last known safe zone was in Fairbanks, Alaska. It has since gone dark. This will likely be the final transmission from the United States Emergency Alert System. Remain silent. Remain hidden. If you see one of them, run in the opposite direction. They multiply faster than we can count. There are billions now. Earth is no longer ours. This is the end of the United States. May God help us all. Stay tuned for nothing. There is no one left to protect you.